すみません、NHK の鴨志田と言います。宮崎監督に。
Yes, NHK question for Miyazaki. In this particular case, well, this work, I think, has an emphasis which seems to be that of a film for Europeans. It seems to be directed to the enjoyment of Europeans or to be appreciated by Europeans. And, well, I think this is rather odd because when somebody pays money to go see a movie, whether they like the film or not, well, these are the free impressions of that person who goes to a movie, and I don't think that I thought of any particular target audience. I'd like to ask, please, with regard to this film, and I like the film a great deal, by the way, I'd like to ask whether you changed your approach, your way of thinking, because with a film for children, there are several levels, but it's a beautiful film. But to achieve your target of very young people, did you have to change your approach in your translation of images to be able to touch the younger audience? And this mix of the Japanese culture and the Japanese myths and European culture, this mix, which is something that you already have as part of your culture, to what extent did this mix come spontaneously, and how much did you do it deliberately to mix the two cultures? Well, personally, in my staff, many people have had children very recently, so they have young children, and seeing these children and watching them from birth, I thought of a film for them. And that was the spur to make this movie. Obviously, I don't have children always around me, but I thought that it would be a very good thing to make this sort of film. With regard to the relationship between East and West, Asia and Europe, in Japan, we say that opposites attract. It's a proverb. And therefore, there are elements which take on a sort of metamorphosis when things blend and meld together. And in this unfolding of a mixture, an interweave, we see this perhaps in the film, and I think that's why it appeals to anybody in the world.
You said that you'll be going to work with a younger generation on your next project. Is it true that one of them will be the Oscar winner Michiel Dudok de Wit you'll be cooperating with for your next feature project?
Well, could you repeat the question, please? Sorry. Could you repeat the question as being asked? Okay.
Sorry.
La richiesta era rivolta all'interprete in giapponese, per favore.
Okay.
Yeah, it was asked of the Japanese interpreter. Repeat the question. Well, currently, my staff, or I will continue to work with my current staff, in other words. However, I am also of the idea that the time is now ripe for me to work with younger staff. So I won't stop working with my old staff, but I will also add younger people. Hello, I'm called Waltiger Ganassi, and I have dealt with the dubbing of many films of Mr. Miyazaki, and I'd like to thank him. Now, following Natsume Soseki's tradition, have you seen the painting of Ophelia? And this famous painting of the death of Ophelia. Were you inspired by this painting? And what did you like so much about this painting, the death of Ophelia? Well, we have done animation for about 40 years now, and therefore we have certainly gone back to the 19th century, and I think we've achieved a peak, if you like, and we thought that, beyond this, there's no further road ahead. And however, there is the possibility of nonetheless taking a different tack, but looking at works of the past, certainly you understand their greatness.
The Little Mermaid and Finding Nemo. Have you seen these films? Do you like these films? And did they influence you or inspire you in any way?
Okay, when I was 9, we saw the Little Mermaid, and so it's part of our culture. And there was something which, at the time, I didn't really like when I saw this, because mermaids were not supposed to have a soul, whereas human beings did. So I wasn't very satisfied with that Little Mermaid, and I decided to make this movie as a consequence. There is a question from Mr. Suzuki. I'd like to ask him this. As you always work very personally, as a personal friend and also as a professional worker with Mr. Miyazaki, I'd also like to talk about what you did 2 years ago, which is now in the museum. Could you talk about this experience? And did you take elements of this and insert it in Ponyo, this work which is now in the museum? Ghibli Studios, in the Ghibli Studios, there is an art gallery, and Miyazaki made 6 short movies. And of these, there are 3 shorts that have become prime movers for us. One is on the theme of the sea. It's a short which is called Momo, and then there's another. And there's another which is called Seeking a Home, and it's the story of someone who goes around I'm sorry, but I can't remember it. But anyway, there's one of a story that shows somebody seeking a home, and there are many stories which, of course, enrich the works of Miyazaki.